Welcome back for Word Project 2, Video 2. In this video, we are going to be covering pages 54 through 59 in the textbook. And this section deals a lot with formatting the document to make it look the way that we want it to. I'm sorry, I just realized that I had my screencast up on the screen. So here I am back in my multi-level list that we started in the first video. And so now we need to start formatting it. And formatting it simply means that we're going to give it the look that we need. So instead of just typing a document and turning it in, we want to make sure that it has the correct spacing, the correct margins, correct fonts and styles, and some different things like that. So we're going to go through some of those terms. First, let's talk about the margins. The margins are the white space that's around the edge of the document. So I'm going to turn on my margins here, and so this white space up here at the top where I can't type, this is my top margin. This section over here where there's this white space where I cannot type, this is the left margin. And then you also have a right margin and you have a bottom margin here down at the bottom of the paper. So we have four separate margins: top, bottom, left, and right. And whenever you're creating a multi-level list, there are specific margins that you need to use. Each type of document has different requirements. If a teacher doesn't give you a requirement, then you should just leave it alone. Word automatically sets a 1-inch margin on all sides, and for most times that's an okay thing to have. However, a multi-level list should have a 2-inch margin on the top, left, and right, and a 1-inch margin on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and set those. So to change your margins, you're going to come to the Page Layout tab, which I already happen to be in. And we're going to click on Margins, and it's right here in the Page Setup section, and you can clearly see the word Margins. When I click on it, it pops open a menu that that shows me some different options that maybe if I look through and I see, well, I really needed a 1/2-inch margin on all of them, I needed some narrow margins, I could simply click on this and it would set those margins. As I look through here, though, I don't see one that has a top, left, and right set at 2 inches. I see a wide which has 2 inches on the left and on the right, but not on the top, and so that's not going to work for me either. So I'm going to have to come down here to Custom Margins and click on that, and it's going to pop open this screen. And this lets me set my margins manually. So here for the top margin, I need to set that at 2. My bottom can stay at 1. Left is going to be set at 2, and so is the right. So once I have those set, I can click on OK, and it changes that for me. Okay, so everything's kind of been moved in. Alright, so now we need to make sure that our line spacing is correct in our multi-level list. So what we need to do is select everything in the entire document. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this, and we've talked about selecting things. One of my favorite ways is here on the Home tab. If I come over to the Editing section, you'll see Select. And when I click on that, I can choose Select All. And what that does is it just highlights everything in the document. I personally like to do it that way because I feel like this is more of a foolproof way than trying to do it myself. I'm actually telling Word everything that's in the document, I want you to select it and put that in. So we have everything in the document selected. So now we're going to go to the Paragraph group on the Home tab, which is right here. And here on the bottom row, you're going to see this line spacing icon. Okay, so you'll see the icon looks like some lines, and there's an arrow pointing up and an arrow pointing down, and when you hover over it, it says Line and Paragraph Spacing. When we click on this, it opens up the menu, and we can see that we have some different options in here, and it shows that we've got 1.0, 1.15, 1.5, some different spacing here. We want to select 1.15 spacing, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then I'm going to go to the Page Layout tab, and I'm going to find my Paragraph group, which is right over here. And you can see that right now, after the spacing, it says 0 point. We want this to say 10. So I'm going to click on that and hit enter, and you'll see things just move just a little bit, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. After you hit that, after you type the number 10, you actually want to hit enter, and that will make Word make that an official thing. Character formatting is when we change the look of one or more characters, and a character is it can be a font, a font size, the font case, the font style. Those are all formatting things that we can change to the character. A font is just another word for a typeface, and it decides the way that the letters and the shapes are going to look. And fonts is something that all of you are familiar with. You love to play with the fonts, I know this. And as many cool fonts as there are in Word, there are really only 3 that we use in this class, and that's because those are the 3 most commonly used fonts, and those are Calibri, Times New Roman, and Arial. So I know that those tend to be the 3 least exciting fonts, but they are the easiest ones to read, and they take up a consistent amount of space, and so that's why they're the 3 most commonly used fonts. So in this class, those 3 fonts are the ones that you should use at all times. And most of our documents will specify what type of font you should use. Font size is measured in points. The larger the point size, the bigger the font is. So most documents are either an 11 or a 12-point font. Once again, in this class, it needs to be an 11 or a 12-point font. We don't make things bigger or smaller, or you will lose points. So to change the character formatting, you select the entire document, and we're going to go back to the Home tab, and here's our font section. Okay, so right now my font type, there's nothing listed there, and that's because when you look at my document, I actually have 2 different fonts going on in my document. So right now it's not going to show that to me because I have more than 1 font selected. So I would be able to click on the down arrow, and I'm going to choose Calibri. And then same thing with the font size, because I have several different font sizes going on right now. It's not going to show me a font size, so I'm going to go ahead and change that, and I'm going to say I want it to be a 12-point font. Text case. Text case refers to the characters either being in capital or in lowercase letters. You can change the case of a text even after you've typed it. Normally, if we wanted something to be in all caps, we would actually go back and retype it, and you actually don't have to do that because Word will do it for you. So we are going to highlight the school day, and here in the font section, in the top row, we have our font, our size. We can make the font a little bigger, a little smaller, or we can change the case. And once again, as you hover over these things, that box will pop up to let you know what that icon is. So you don't have to click on it. You can hover, let the box pop up and tell you what's going on before you click on it. So I'm going to click on it. I can change this to sentence case. So if I had typed an entire sentence in all uppercase and that's not really how I wanted it, I could go to sentence case and it would only uppercase the first word of the sentence. I could lowercase everything, or I can uppercase everything, which is what I'm going to choose to do. And you can see now the school day is in all uppercase letters. At this point, you are ready to complete the Apply It items on pages 54 through 59. You can go ahead and do that if you wish, or you can move on to video 3 and then work through the textbook.